a System 9 Comet MPU without voice ROM truck attached. And frankly, this board was an utter mess when it came in. And I worked on it for the better part of a day. And I've never had a board that had to go between the bench and my test rig so many times. So let's go over what I found. First, I replaced all the capacitors. Those three there are power input filter caps, and then there are three over here in the sound section that I replaced. Also installed jumper W10, and I'll ask the client to cut that off when he reattaches the sound or the voice ROM truck. Labeled the ROMs, installed NVRAM. It wouldn't boot at all to start with, and I used Leon's ROM to check the 6821s. That immediately flagged this 6821, and it flagged the switch matrix 6821 here. There was a problem with this LS245 address bus driver, and I replaced this 7404 for good measure, because when it came in, the 74154 here was blown, and that chip being blown is characteristic of the board being connected backwards, or two connectors in the back box being cross-connected, and it usually blows U41 and U9. So since this was blown and this one was testing bad, it was a result of something else as it turned out, but I replaced that also. Replaced all the headers all the way around, and there are 17.156 headers, or there's actually 19, but I count two 4-pin headers as one header. I cleaned up some really bad hackery up here in the special solenoid section and had to replace three tip 102s along with the 7402. And System 9 didn't have any way, or at least the special solenoid section was driven by switch closures on the slingshots or pop bumpers. So as long as one of those switches was closed, the path to ground was enabled via these tip 102s. And if that switch was closed for an extended duration, the traces under these tip 102s just couldn't take the current over that period of time. They're not meant to have that kind of duty cycle, so they burn up. So these are burned up, you can see, and so I had to make sure there was no conductivity across that burnt carbon, and there wasn't after I drilled a hole out through them, or drilled most of it out, and then I fitted the tip 102s in there as best as I could. There were two tip 102s blown down there was some hackery down here too, so I fixed all that. Let's see, the 7447 here is inoperative. Normally this would show a 0. You can see it's showing kind of a, well, there's only two segments on, this left one and the top one here. It's not impeding the board from working correctly in any way other than the status isn't correct. But 7447s are hard to find, and I had to scavenge one out of one of my shop boards to verify that this was working correctly with a correct 7447, or a working 7447. So I'm going to leave this one in here with an X on it to let the client know that if they can ever find a 7447, just to swap it in there. Let's see, new sockets for these PIAs. There was some alkaline corrosion up here, and I had sanded that off and then conformal coated that bare copper so it will not corrode again. So I've got it booted up, and the lamp matrix is operating, and the only solenoid that's on is the coin lockout solenoid. So let me put it into test, and that's audit, so let me go through that and let the board reboot. Okay, got the button in the correct position. Display test, and this little display tester was built by Siegecraft a long time ago. I don't think that he offers those anymore, but I'll eventually get an updated board from Pinsider Dumbass that will cover all System 9 through 11 displays. The next test is sound test, and it'll go 0 and 1 without any sound. 0 is normal to have no sound. 1 would normally be a voice from the voice ROM truck, but since there's no voice ROM truck installed and I have this jumpered, you won't hear anything at 1 either. So that is normal sound coming out. The 6821 here was also blown, and Leon's ROM can't detect that one because it was the outputs to the 1408 that were not operating. So that one came out too. All of these 6821s that were blown, by the way, were AMI 6821s, just like this one still is. And they have a tendency to end their life prematurely. Lamp matrix operating. Let's go over to coil test. And System 9 didn't multiplex any coils, so this will go through all the red ones and then all the green ones with an occasional blue and orange one sprinkled in. And then it'll restart. The special solenoids are switch triggered, like I mentioned before. And these two orange ones are the flipper power relay enable. The next test is switch test. So let's do all of column 1. And all of row 1. And the last switch for Comet is switch 50. And Williams software didn't report any switches above the number of switches that were in the game. So we're back into audits and adjustments again. So let me cycle through that. And we're going to reboot. And everything is back to the initial game state, ready for somebody to drop a quarter in or put this game on free play and play a little Comet. Thank you for sending this one. This one was quite a challenge. You always kind of get bored doing the same kind of boards over and over again, and you pray for a challenge, and then when a challenge comes in, there's sometimes more than you really want to take on. And for my clients that are anxiously waiting for me to complete their boards by watching these videos every day that I put out, I thank you for your patience. I'm healthy. I've been vaccinated. I work on boards almost every day, and sometimes you just run across one or two that are kind of like this, and they take an extended period of time, so that pushes things back in the queue. Anyway, thank you so much for your patience on this one, and let's get it back to you. Thanks again.